look so tired right now.
Oh my God!
Let me apologize. I'm on this West Coast, and this time difference is
Oh my God,
12 p.m. Eastern.
Bro, so you saying he wasn't trying to get on the live? He was lying to us.
Bruh, I was trying to get up, bro.
No, he looks drained right there.
What up, fellas?
What's up, bro?
My apologies.
What's
everybody.
good with you?
What's up, King?
Good, bro.
I'm good, man. I'm good, bro.
My
Good
bad.
to see y'all. All right, my bad. What's happening, Jamal?
I'm done. I'm done. I gotta wait. You gotta catch up. It's time for you to. You gotta catch up.
Varo got like 30 minutes
bro.
to
You got the
himself right
next
now.
hour for yourself, Varo.
You said what?
You got like 30 minutes to yourself right now.
Yeah, you got 30 minutes.
No, come on.
For sure. Let's go.
Hey.
Well, Jamal, we'll jump back into that. Let's have Varo kind of introduce himself. What are you up to? What's next? Just kind of talk to the people a little bit.
What's going on, everybody? As everybody knows, I'm Varo Johnson. I'm from Chicago. Right now, I'm currently on the Maverick City Kingdom tour, playing drums with Jonathan McReynolds. I've been playing drums basically all my life. So the music industry and all the other good stuff is not really that new to me, but I'm still grateful to be able to work after all this time and people to still be able to call. So I'm happy about that. I'm always forever grateful about that, be able to take care of my family and pay bills and things like that, and inspire the people who's coming up. That's basically it. I'm a big fan of the three of y'all, Jamal, Rex, Aaron. You already know. It's nothing but love for me. I'm just glad I was able to catch y'all. I'm glad to be here now, man. I'm knocked out.
Yo, Rex, I told you he was asleep. I said, yo, he's asleep.
Bro.
Yeah, he called that.
I went to bed at 5:30.
Bruh.
Like 7:30.
The church tour.
Okay. So,
yes, sir.
Varo, got you up. Right now we're talking about how up-and-coming musician or drummer, we're talking about drummers, can develop their own voice and not really like be a copycat in a way. So we'll have Jamal finish his thought, and then we'll go to Varo, and then we'll go to Rex.
My bad. So yeah, I think that listening to other music and applying yourself in those different genres can help you for sure develop your own voice. Turn the internet, like once you I know we all got our favorite clips and stuff like that. Turn the internet off. Go downstairs or go get on a gig and get in the trenches, because that's the trenches of it, because that's the only way you're gonna get your voice. I feel like you can be inspired all day, but yeah, you got to get in the trenches to kind of figure out like what your thing is. And once you figure that out, max on it, like really, really max on it. A lot of people talk about the creativity that we play with, or just the DC drummers and stuff like that, but that's literally us being in the trenches all the time. Like we will sit down and play drums for hours and hours and hours and figure out like, all right, cool, this is my thing and that's your thing. And, just helping each other sharpen those things. And so, yeah, that would be my advice to developing your own voice,
For sure. Varo, you got anything to add on that?
Yeah. I will be honest and say, coming up, that was something I struggled with for just the first couple of years. I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but sometimes when you start getting calls, hopefully this helps somebody. When you start getting calls to maybe do a record or something that another one of your drum heroes or somebody has already played on, you tend to mimic what they loved about that person. So you start adding that to okay, this is in my repertoire of things to do, whether it's the chops, whether it's the feels, whether it's the, how you set songs up and things like that. But what happens is when they always want to hear that person, they're going to call them.
Sure.
So what you have to do is you got to figure out a way to start being able to set templates for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Well, okay, this is what I would do. This is what I would, and don't get me wrong, it might not get you hired right away, but eventually people will develop, a liking or a love for what you're able to bring, personality-wise. You know what I'm saying? you can't always hear what somebody else would do. So I tell guys this all the time because even now at my studio, I've over like the last year, I've had like maybe like 6 or 7 producers hit me like, oh man, I had this song cut before, but I need to get it, redone because they gave me too much this, they gave me too much that. And they're putting like names, you know what I'm saying? Like of
Yeah.
people who they tried to mimic and who they tried to be like. So you definitely want to always build your own sound when it comes to music in general. Like you can watch a live performance of, Rex, of people he's played with and be like, oh yeah, he's killing. I love this artist. I'm gonna play the gig exactly like him. You know what I'm saying? I just recently, watched something that Jamal was doing with TLC. I'm like, man, say if somebody got the call and said, hey, I want to play the gig just like him, the MD would be like, well, just what would you feel? What would you hear? You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to get swallowed up in stealing identities. You know what I'm saying? You want to come in as yourself and walk the rooms as yourself every time.
For sure.
So
that's big, man. And don't worry, Rex, I got him, bro.
Yo, they trolling
Listen.
my man over
Bro.
here. God.
what happened?
Listen,
Somebody hopped on here saying that they're the real Rex Hardy.
Oh man, come on. They still doing stuff like this, y'all? Come on, man.
jeez.
Yo.
Hey, man, that's a big deal, boy. You going through all that. Your life is boring.
Yo said, I'm the real Rex Hardy, block this clown. What?
Please stand up and listen. Whatever works.
Man.
That's crazy.
But, man,
Bro, they've been going crazy all morning, dog. Well, the last hour, however long we've been out here.
they've been going wild, man. But, yeah, man, Varo, that was some great advice, man. Rex, feel free to add whatever you feel.
I think for me, like, I used to, but I told you, like, I came up under Calvin. So I tried to approach because I was like the little stunt double somewhat is like wherever he went, I just followed. So for me, like Varo said, anybody you're around, anybody you may look up to, whoever that person is, you tend to start trying to approach things like that person, which isn't always a bad thing. It only becomes a bad thing when you want your own cause.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you will always be a stunt double. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at myself. I'm not calling anybody else, but that for me, that's what I became. Because it's like, long as that person isn't working, you're always going to be out of work.
For sure.
To be honest with you, that person has to be working for you to even work. It's like, nah, I'm gonna figure something else out. So for me, that's when I got heavy into programming. Because it was like there were so many drummers I couldn't even compete with, like playing drums. Like they would sit down, I'd be like, wow, like I can't do that. So I'm like, okay, well, let me figure out something else. So programming became part of my sound. So that in itself almost kind of made me feel like I was doing something different, but still a lot of gigs I wasn't programming on. Like gigs that I was getting called for, I wasn't doing the programming. It would turn into that. So the playing aspect of it, I just started trying to listen to certain things and play it how I play it if they call me directly. Like I started practicing it in a way as forget you filling in for anybody. What if they called you? Play it as if you've never heard anybody play this music.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then once you get comfortable with that within yourself, because you can act like you don't play like somebody all you want, but if that's the only person they hear when they see you, you don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that it had to happen for me that way because I didn't believe it for a long time. Once I believed it, that's when, you know what I'm saying, I was comfortable.
Man, this is all good stuff. I'm asking questions for me at this point, basically. But okay. So let's hop into this next one, which I had right here. Okay, so with you guys growing up before Instagram and it blowing up and everything, so you guys have seen like the transition from where you guys started with this, and then there's Instagram and all that now. How crucial is it to have social media presence in this day and age? Things aren't really the same as they were before. How big and how important is it to have your presence. And Varo, we'll start with you.
I think it's important, but you got to have a healthy balance with
Absolutely.
that because, I mean, because cats liking your videos, comment on your videos doesn't always, sometimes it creates a space in your head that you think you're the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When social media is not really reality, you still got to have some real relationships out here. You know what I'm saying? Because people are not just going to call you just based off
Yo, what is going on?
video
Oh, come
or social media.
Come on, bro.
I got you.
on. Are you
Man,
serious?
you can't have nothing, yo. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, so people just not just gonna call you because your social media is hype, or they will and then get disappointed.
Right.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
hit you. Oh yeah, he killing. But that goes back to the question before. Yeah, they killing playing somebody else stuff. You know what I'm saying? So then you studied social media or the YouTube so long. Now your page is hype. Now you got the hype behind you. You jump on a gig and you like, yo, you haven't really studied the music like that because you sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm finna go ahead and shut it down. I'm finna go ahead, I got such and such a with followers. I hear a lot of people saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they ain't gonna. I mean, them followers ain't never put no money in my pocket.
Facts.
So
Right.
that's how I feel about that. I feel like it's cool. You got to be creative. If you want your page, to look a certain way, you want to make it a music page. You want people to become attractive. Okay, I'm a drummer out here looking for work, or I'm a drummer out here working and trying to be marketable. That's the healthy balance versus, I'm the guy or I'm competing with other drummers.
Yeah.
Please don't use your page for that.
Facts.
Absolutely.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Jamal.
I think that social media is definitely is important. I would say like it's almost kind of like if you use it correctly, it can be your portfolio. It can be like your website, for lack of better words. Like Instagram could be like your videos and your bio and all that other cool stuff. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a website, and so anything I pretty much has done has been based on social media. And so I think that if it's used correctly, it can be very, very beneficial. But just to kind of piggyback off what Varo said, is like it can be unhealthy as well if you start to believe the hype. And that's the only thing that you are chasing. You chasing followers. You chasing just the hype. That's just not real. That's not realistic. And what happens is you'll start to try to apply that in real life. I've actually seen people, at NAMM or just around town that have a bunch of followers, and they start to, kind of have this like aura about themselves because they got this many followers, and these people say these things in their clips, and it's like, bro, that doesn't mean anything. Like, if you can't pay your own bills, if you ain't you can't really floss on me. Like, don't floss on me. So I think that it's definitely important to have a healthy balance and to maintain relationships outside of social media, so that you'll be cool, you'll be whole. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Rex, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, no, basically what they said. I mean, if you use it the way it should be used, then I think, what I'm saying, it works. It definitely won't hurt you if you use it the correct way. You know what I mean? But again, don't get caught into the false reality of that's me. Like, I'm a star. Like, it don't work that way. Like, if you're an idiot outside of social media, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because like Jamal said, you can have a certain amount of followers, or you can not have any.
Yeah.
If you use it to promote what you want to project to people or what you want to present to people, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you don't use social media as a bully.
Rex, we're losing.
The spin.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh. Let's see. Man, it was getting good too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's probably gonna hit it.
That's
Probably
the
gonna
enemy.
play.
The enemy.
Hey, Jamal, he's trying to divide us, bro. He's trying to divide us.
Yo, the enemy always trying to divide us, dog. God.
He sprinkled that thing on me, bro. I couldn't, with my eyes.
He was trying to get you this morning, bro.
Oh no, he had me this morning.
Yo, he had me down.
He had me this morning, yo.
So while he's coming back on, I'm only gonna ask maybe one or two more questions, and that should be a wrap. We've already been on for a little while. Don't time. Let's do this one. So, what's some advice that you would give to some of today's musicians, like people that are trying to do what you guys are doing or things that you have done? What's some advice that you would give them? And we'll go with Jamal on this one.
Oh God. Hey man, I got a break. That's funny. I'm talking to my homie Jay. Some advice, man. Kind of like the same thing Varo was kind of saying. I hate to kind of keep going back to that, but just having a healthy balance, man. Having substance in your life, I think it's important that, the road will meet the rubber one day. Like, you will have to be an adult one day. You will have to pay your own bills. You will have to, answer for your own things. And so I just think it's important that as we are trying to, be, oh, he's back.
We got
my God.
There we go. Hey,
my God.
We got you,
yo.
I think that was the ghost of the person I was talking about.
Oh my gosh, we got.
Yo, come on, yo.
Oh my God!
Come on, y'all. Come on,
now,
bruh.
Yo, can y'all block that person? Who's that?
I got you, bro. I got you.
yeah,
okay.
These people go.
Bex, you were saying some good stuff before we lost you, man.
Yeah,
let's that and then catch you up.
No, what I stop off? I think just basically don't call it to the reality. Don't use social media as a bullying mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Or a ploy to make people think whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to holler at a dude. Like, man, you ain't about to go around bullying people. Not now. You talking to somebody who's on your levels. You know what I'm saying? But you don't need that same energy. Like, it's the energy. Like, leave it alone. Like, we all out here trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And some of us, I mean, very few. I'm not one of them, but some people have it figured out. I don't have it all figured out. So I use social media as it's a sense of therapy for me as well. You know what I'm saying? But that's a way of me using it in a way of getting things I need from it. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a good tool. You just can't, you can't let it overtake you. That's what I'll say. So I agree with both
for
of
sure.
them, all that involved.
No, that's real. That's real right there.
Okay, so Rex, what we're talking about right now is just some advice to give these up and coming musicians, people that are trying to do what you guys are doing. Also, I mean, do their own thing. But we had Jamal talking about it. Jamal finished.
Yeah, but I was just more so trying to piggyback off where we kind of leaving off, actually. Just having substance, man. Like, the internet's going to be what it is. And yes, we kind of want to use social media to promote ourselves and whatnot. But just having real relationships outside of the internet. Because I just see the internet just kind of like getting faster and faster. It's going crazy and crazy. Now we're on TikTok and it's just doing so many things. And I think it's just important that we have balance in our lives. And so I would tell people, just have balance, man. Have real relationships outside of the internet. And so that you know how to, like, interact with people and know how, and just have a high IQ when it comes to conversation and stuff like that. As you can see, like, we got, people who just get in comments and just say crazy things and just wild out. And that's not, realistically, if you use the conversation wild stuff to me right now in my face, I swear to God, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would go dumb. It would go crazy. And so that's just what it is. And I just think that I don't want us to I would tell younger versions, like, just don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in all the hype stuff, man. Just do your best to act like some real substance. Work on your craft. Be the best as you can be. And, yeah, that's that. That's all I would say for right now. I don't really have anything super profound or prolific or prophetic to speak to the young people of Christ. I don't have that right now.
Okay, Rex, we'll have you talk on it, and then we'll have Varo finish. We should be getting done with this. We've already been.
Can you say it again? My what's the name was in and out. What's the last thing you said?
So I was just saying, we'll have you go on right now, and then we'll have Varo finish it off for us. We've been on for a little over an hour, almost an hour and a half. Don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. So, yeah, just go ahead and add to it. And
what did he say? No, I didn't hear. Your question was breaking up. I heard his answer, but I'm trying to.
Oh, the question is, what's some advice that you would give like these up-and-coming musicians that want to do what it is that you guys are doing?
I would say, like musically, I would say work on what you don't like. That would be my advice. Musically, work on what you don't like, because it's easy to practice the stuff that you love, that you care about. You know what I mean? So that's a piece, because what happens is if you ever get thrown in a situation, it may be a situation that could change your life, but if you're not prepared for it, you can't take it. You know what I mean? So for me, had I not known how to read when I got the call for Idol, it would have been no possible way I could have done 200 songs, 300 songs in a week. That was weekly. You know what I'm saying? No way. I personally can't remember that songs. Like, and I used to hear Teddy would tell me, he's like, man, you try to internalize that music, you're going to get sick. But it wasn't an option. You know what I mean? But if I could have told myself earlier, I would have gotten better. I would have stuck with reading longer, but I knew enough to where when I was thrown in the fire, you know what I'm saying, I could figure it out. But I would tell guys, like, learn everything. I still don't know everything, but never think you're so good that you know everything musically. You know what I'm saying? Take the relationship serious. You liable to be talking to the cousin of a tour manager that needs a drummer for one of the biggest artists you just don't know. You just don't know. So if you treat people with the respect that you want to receive, like, yeah, we're going to make mistakes or whatever the case may be. But that's what I would say, like, relationships and work on what you don't like. Because what you don't like may or may not pay your bills for the rest of your life.
For sure. I like that one.
And that's powerful. I've been putting off reading for the past couple of years, man. But yeah, that speaks volumes, man. So yeah, Varo, take us home, man.
You gotta look. He did this.
Like,
yo, we going out.
Like,
we out of the event.
Like,
let's go.
Close us up. The vamp. I mean, not to sound, deep or anything, but I would tell any young drummer right now, musically, face your insecurities. Because the insecurities is what's destroying the younger drummers now. And what I mean by that is,
yeah, I was going to ask you. Give an example of that. I want to know.
Rex basically just said it, like, whatever you don't like about yourself, don't become proud about it. Don't act like you know. You know what I'm saying? Study it. Learn it. You know what I'm saying? To get down, like you said earlier, Jamal, get in the trenches and be a student of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because things are moving fast, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we talking about 10, 11, 12-year-olds killing, like, it's mesmerizing, but at the same time, you start thinking, like, when you start getting older, you're like, man, okay, I'm not the young boy no more. You know what I'm saying? You know how fast and quick that can turn from you being the young, hot, new, whatever you think you are, into what they call now the OG. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really nail every situation, every opportunity that comes your way. You got to nail it. And just, you got to be almost exceptional. You know what I'm saying? But on the other side of things, be a human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give yourself some grace. I mean, if you're 16, 17 years old, go play basketball. Find another hobby or something like that too. Be in love with what you're doing, but at the same time, don't make it just become your world, because at 20, close to 30, if things are not going the way you think they're going, now you like, oh man, you battling this, you battling that, because that's why I say face your insecurities, because you don't want to be 10 years from now battling, depression, the things like that, which I'm sure some of us have all dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember sitting in dark rooms at 26, 27, like, I guess it just ain't gonna happen for me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I have been wrapped into this mindset of things since 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I would say just, man, live your life. Still be a human too.
Yeah.
Don't try to be walking around like, oh, you this big drama extraordinaire just walking the world. That's all it is. That's all you got to offer to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of us who are fathers, be fathers to your kids. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be, just out here just living crazy and just, whatever. Like I said, be young, be a human, live your life, have your fun. But at the same time, it's like, let's be serious about what we're doing. Everybody's coming, come up to, yo, man, I'm trying to get where you are. Okay, well, I'm 39. I started playing at 3.
Wow.
We talking about 36 years of, but then they see me like, they like, oh, I want to do that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I want to do what Rex is doing tomorrow. I want to do what Jamal is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all not even understanding. It's a long journey that comes with this. And the flip side is some people do get success early. Some people are touring at 21, 22. But then be careful about what at 31, 32. Make sure you have evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying in a nutshell and umbrella, don't rush time. Let it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Man,
I like that.
That's perfect, man, because it really speaks on balance. Like, everything really has to have balance. You can't go extreme on one end because you'll just end up burning yourself out. So, yeah, fellas, I'm
No, we got another 30. Varo just got here. We got another 30 just for him.
And I didn't want to take too much of you guys' time, man. Are you guys good to keep going a little bit more, or what's the move?
No, we go a little bit long.
I'm good.
So let's keep talking then. Let's talk. Some people want to know about endorsements. How to go about endorsements. What endorsements should take. What's some endorsements that they shouldn't take. You know what I mean? So whoever wants to jump on this, go on right ahead.
I'm gonna let Rex talk about that first.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's probably you probably should go first.
No, I mean, come on, dog. It's Jamal. I know you not talking. You have. But no, for me, like I think with the endorsement thing, I think the endorsement thing has kind of it's become more of a fad than anything. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. That's how things happen. You know what I mean? Because certain things that weren't popular then are popular. This is what happens. You know what I mean? So I don't even like the term, like talking to younger musicians if they're trying to do something. You got older guys that you be like, dog, I don't think you need to apply for that. But if that's what you want to do, be my guest. But my thing with endorsements is don't ever settle. Like, I think that's my main thing when it comes to endorsements. If you like a company, go with that company.
Yeah.
If you have to pay something, go with that company. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you want to endorse, you're going to buy it anyway. And a lot of these gigs, unless you're touring or anything of that nature, you're going to be doing rental gear anyway. You know what I'm saying? So people get so caught up into like, yo, man, I just got this kit for this tour. It's like, nah, that wasn't a tour. Like, you had a cluster of dates. Now you got this company thinking you out. Like, you're not out. You know what I'm saying? But I get it because I used to want endorsements. But again, back then, I had the idea of I want to be able to bring these companies something versus them giving me something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like I didn't have nothing to offer, the companies I'm with, majority of them, I've been with them for 15, 20 years. If I signed with them then, I've stayed with them. Now, you got companies that I've signed with at recent, but it wasn't because I left somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But you have guys, they have to move companies because it works for them. And again, those are the guys I'm talking about. They aren't settling. If they want to be somewhere else, they can go somewhere else. But some guys get with these companies, oh, they owe me. Oh, it's not. It's their gear. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really get offended. But again, if you're going to go after an endorsement, do it the right way. And don't get offended when they say, oh, man, well, we can't sign you right now, or we can give you this percentage. Oh, like, what you mean? That's a percentage. Like, I'm on TV playing with this church every stream. Like, okay, nothing against that, but what can you do for the companies? You know what I mean? So it's got to be a give. Like, you have to look at it both ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you can get them, I would say definitely try. Yeah. But make sure you're ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Varo, do you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I feel like Rex is right, man. There's a lot of great points. I learned a lot of that stuff when I was younger from him about the patience of endorsements, and it's just taking your time about getting certain endorsements. But I will say this. You want to get endorsed by what you love to play. That only makes sense. Mm-hmm. So if the companies that you love are not showing you no love right now, just keep working. Keep working. Keep finding a way to buy the gear. You know, do what you got to do, and don't expect handouts. You know what I'm saying? Because even when they do endorse you, you sign that, you know, that dotted line, you know, you still got to do the work. And that goes back to the promotion of the resume of either social media, whatever websites or whatever that you have. You got to be doing some legitimate work and have some legitimate influence for these companies to put money first behind you and promotion behind you.
Yeah.
And that takes time. That's not something that happens overnight. Because if the company is not benefiting off your, you know, off your influence or off, you know, whatever you're doing these days, they have no need for you.
Yeah.
It's just the bottom line, you know. And Cass want to look at it like, you know, and Rex is right. It's really a hype thing now where everybody's like, oh yeah, look who I'm endorsed with, look what I'm doing, look what I'm, you know, playing. Everything you see me playing, I've been playing for years.
Yeah.
I've been playing for years before they was giving me anything, before they was sending me anything, before it was 70, 80% off, before it was anything. Oh, here's a free snare, here's a free whatever. I was buying it. You know, off $171 a week, I was buying it. Man. Playing the church. You know what I'm saying? You save your money, you know, get what you got to get. Like I say, just love the gear and everything else will fall in place. But if you do, you know, you'll know when it's time. You'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll know when it's time, and the company will know it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
That's good stuff, man. Jamal?
I second everything pretty much Rex and Varo said. I think I have like real life examples. If not anything, I tell a story about how I for the longest time I loved Zildjian. Like I've always played Zildjian, and I was going through this phase of like I was starting to travel and I was starting to tour, and I had my sticks and I had drums, but I didn't have cymbals. And so a company called TRX, I'm sure, bro, you remember TRX, but TRX did reach out to me, and I know Mr. Levine from DW, like he used to work at DW, and so he started the company, and he's like, hey man, would you be interested in playing the cymbals? And at that very moment, I was like, for sure, like, you know, send me the cymbals. I want to check them out. And I actually loved the cymbals. The cymbals was fire. I enjoyed them. I played them for a long time, you know. But before he had offered that, I had already reached out to Zildjian, and I was just trying to get an endorsement, not because I wanted free gear, but because I just wanted to be a part of the company. Like I was so hype about the gear, and like, you know, I just wanted to be a part, like, yo, I play Zildjian. And so I was, you know, I still would pay for my cymbals and whatnot, but I just wanted them to consider me as one of their artists because I felt like it was an honor. That's another thing. I feel like the kids don't really understand an honor system. And I'm not saying you got to walk around and pretty much, you know, treat people like they're the president, but like, you know, an honor system, like I feel it's a two-way street, you know, like they're honored for you to be a part, but you got to, you know, think of it as an honor to be a part of such of a company with that type of prestige. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, make a long story short, they told me they couldn't sign me, and I was like, cool. And I played TRX for a couple years, and my contract was up, and it was like they knew exactly when my contract was up. Like they knew exactly. It was like 2 years, and I remember Kirsten, you know, pulling me to the side and saying, "Hey, what you doing about cymbals right now?" And I was like, "I'm just chilling, you know, playing what I can play." And I was still traveling. I was in LA. This is a conversation that took place in LA while I was rehearsing. And she was like, "Hey, you know, I think it might be time for us to revisit that conversation with us signing you." And I think at that very moment, to go back with Varo and with Rex said, they found value in me being a part of the team, and they knew that I had enough influence at that moment to not so much I don't want to say sell product, but to almost kind of be a part of a team that was working towards like promoting this product. Or promoting these products. And so with that being said, you know, it's a two-way street. And I think that we as endorsers, or, you know, we have to realize that, or the people that's trying to be endorsed, we have to realize like, it's just not a hand-me-out thing. It's not a freebie thing. You really got to bring something to the table. And that's, you know, influence, that's ideas, that's camaraderie, community. And also, y'all, I mean, I'm gonna double down on this too. A lot of people want endorsements, but you kind of portraying something that the company doesn't necessarily agree with, and that's down to character. I've seen a few people kind of I've seen a few things go left because of what people have been portraying outside of, and it goes against the company policies. And so you got to be aware of that, man. It's almost, they call it friendly branding, if that makes any sense. Like people, you're not going to see McDonald's trying to brand with somebody that doesn't represent like their guidelines, their community guidelines. So y'all be aware of that, man. Be very mindful of that as y'all like posting on the internet and stuff like that. Make sure like you you posting at things that will say I'm a friendly brander. I want, you know, if a company wants to be a part of my brand, like it wouldn't go against the community guidelines. And so that's just my 2 cents on the endorsements.
For sure. Okay, this next one, we're talking about how like to keep a gig, basically. So for Rex, you've been touring with Mary for how long?
18 years.
18 years. So a lot of people assume that it's just, oh, Rex is a really good drummer, so therefore he keeps the gig, right? Can you speak on basically all that it takes in order to like maintain a gig and those relationships and things? And we'll have the other guys speak on it too. But I kind of wanted to start with Rex on this one.
I think it's one is getting with an artist, depending. I mean, because none of these things last forever. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, starting, you should really, with any artist, once you start, immediately try to get to know them. I don't mean friends. I mean just get to know them. Learn how they move. Like learn something you may play. They may have a certain look they give you. Now, you should always do that. And if not in that spot, somewhere in the show, because now you've locked with that person. So that comes from, for me, getting with Mary, and I try to do it with any artist, because most artists any artist I've played with, I'm still cool with them. Like, we still have relationships, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But that's because you tend to find out what's working. You know what I mean? So, like Jamal said, he still talk to people from the Backstreet Boys camp. Like, I know personally Varo talks to people he's rocked with. So, get in that relationship and learning them, because we all can play. Like, playing drums is, none of us can get on drums and really, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but to get on the drums and sound bad at this stage in our career, unless you just dealing, you know what I'm saying, there's something else happening, it's really not possible. But at the same time, you have to be in the space to know I'm working with other people. So you looking at an artist being like, okay, I want to build something here. So once I saw that, I'm like, Mary, I'm like, this is what it is. Learn how she moves, like figure out what she doesn't like. So now I'm not forcing who I think I am on her musically. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not my gig. It's her. She's the star. You know what I mean? So like Jamal, he's an artist, so he gets it. There's some stuff he can do when he's playing for himself that he absolutely can't do when he's playing behind an artist. Because in that moment, he's the art. What is he going to tell himself? Like, that ain't going to fly. It's like, but again, if we working with any artists, I know Varo, he's on the tour now. He's playing this tour different, I'm sure, than other gigs he's done. They don't even have a keyboard player, for God's sakes. So, but they I mean, the videos I've been hearing, but in that moment, you learn what's going to make the art. He can't play the gig any less aggressive or whatever because there's a keyboard player up there. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, you kind of learn. And then once they know that you've taken time to actually learn them and what they like and dislike, I don't really think you have to worry about getting fired, to be honest with you. Because if you are worried about getting fired or something in that moment, that's something they dealing with. It ain't got nothing to do with you not presenting what you were put there to do. You know what I'm saying? On any gig. Because if somebody learns us as an individual, why would you try to get rid of that person? Like Varo said earlier, if it's stuff you're really trying to confront, I want you around. But again, it goes back and forth. And like I said, that works with any artist. So if anything, you learning them will help you learn the music. Because being a good drummer, being a great musician, that comes. That comes with doing things out of repetition. But learning somebody comes with life. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, that's how I kept her gig for so long.
Man, that's big. Jamal, we'll have Varo question last. What are some things that you want to add to that?
Being fired from a gig.
What?
Man, I
Come
think
on,
that.
Jamal, are you kidding me?
Come on, man.
I think that first of all, Rex, he said some really good stuff, man. Like learning who you're working with. You know, that's like lifestyle. That's actually like being a great coworker. You know, so that's really good stuff. I think for me, like pushing through being transition from gigs or however you want to look at it, being fired. I think that you have to assess like maybe why you might have been fired. Sometimes it's because of management. Like, those are things out of your control. You cannot control management. If an artist is going through a different management company, and sometimes managements, they don't just come with like the person that's doing day to day. They might come with their whole squad, meaning like they got an MD already, or they got somebody they want to put in place. And so you have to assess whether why you're being fired. And sometimes you're being fired because you were just a terrible coworker, and you have to just sit back and just and figure that out. I've had both, to be honest. I've been a terrible coworker. I think I might have been a terrible coworker like early on or something like that. And then I've also had, and I'm being super transparent because I feel like people can't really like learn if you don't tell the truth. So, and I've also been a part of situations where they just got rid of the whole camp. And actually, Rex was a part of a situation where they got rid of a whole camp. This is early on in my career. I was playing with Diddy, and they got rid of like not because of anything bad. They just wanted to transition and get like a whole new camp. And Rex was a part of the new camp. And I had to sit back and realize like, yo, you know what? It wasn't nothing that I did bad. It wasn't nothing personally that I did. And it wasn't that I didn't learn my boss. They just decided to do a whole rerouting. And you just got to be okay with that. And you have to trust that the same God that's looking out for Rex is the same God that's looking out for you. So he's not going to necessarily take some money out of your pocket and not, and not replenish it somewhere else. And so, I think that, if anything, transition in jobs has really just stretched my faith to really trust my journey and really trust, like, what's for me is for me. And what I just got to keep my head down and keep working on the things and keep planting good seeds along the way. But, like, keep working on things that I have in front of me, and whatever's supposed to meet me will meet me. And so that's just kind of what I've learned as far as transition. I think I'm answering your question or like how to work through transitions, but yeah, I just would, stay focused on the main thing, keeping the main thing, keeping your eyes on what's in front of you and allowing what's supposed to be for you meet you when you get done or along the journey.
Yeah, man, that's great. And also to say like, we love the transparency, honesty that you're conveying, that's real, raw, authentic stuff. The viewers are would want to hear. You know what I mean? So that's dope that you're doing that. So Varo, let's kind of speak a little bit on like the personal side, like the personality side as well, because of keeping a gig. Because I've heard stories, I don't know how true they are, but of people losing like gigs because they think or something, you know, just like stuff like that. Like aside from the music, like what are some other big things that help people keep a gig?
I say personality. Just everybody just kind of falling in love with your presence and you being there. And then like Rex and Jamal was saying, I feel like the muscle memory of a gig is the best way to make an artist feel comfortable. So what I mean by that is like, you know, if you're doing a show, if you just started doing a gig or things like that, first of all, you want to be presentable. You want to look the part. So you know, you want to walk in and not smell like you've been up for 2 or 3 days. You know, take a shower. You know what I'm saying? You know, get a haircut. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on nowadays.
Yo,
all right, okay, let me
get
get
a haircut is crazy.
I get everybody growing their hair out and all this stuff. It's driving me nuts.
Yo.
But yeah,
it's driving me nuts because this is more of an unclean look. You know what I'm saying? That's not y'all know that's not how we came up, yo. Like Rex is laughing, but I mean I'm just saying, like, you know, groom yourself. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Like, it's just make sure, you know, the presence you look. A lot of artists too pay attention to when they're on their TV shows how everybody looks. That's why it's like, oh man, some artists, like Jamal said, some artists wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want a younger band. I want a band that looks young."
Absolutely.
So is everybody willing to cut their beard?
Definitely not.
You know what I'm saying? Is everybody willing to cut their beard? Or you know what I'm saying? Get lined up or spray their hair, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever it is for this particular look. You know what I'm saying? So definitely hygiene, you know, keeping yourself groomed. And then what I mean by muscle memory is you're doing a show with an artist, cool. Like Rex said, you might get a look from an artist and be like, I really love when you did that. Keep that in mind. Keep that here. That's going to take you to the next 10 years with them. That's going to always keep money in your pocket wherever you sit. Whatever drum seat you sit in, whether it's gospel, whether it's R&B, whether it's pop, whether, you know, whatever. If the MDs are feeling what you're doing, they say, hey, take that out. Use this right here. Listen to what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as me being transitioned out of gigs or fired, I would per se, the only moment I remember being, well, even in that situation, I wasn't necessarily fired. I just quit. I'll tell y'all one story. So basically, I was doing a gospel gig at one moment. Rex used to actually play this gig too. He's gonna crack up. So I decided. Why was I decided? I got a call to play with the R&B artist Mario, right? So we did at the time. We did an AOL taping in New York. We finished the taping. You know, 2 weeks later, the artist that I was playing for, which is a gospel artist, I'll be transparent. They called me and said, "Hey, I know I got this live recording coming up, but I decided to put you on punishment."
Hold on. They say what?
Yeah. They said.
Hold on, no. What did they say? Please say that word. They said what?
I decided to put you on punishment.
Oh nah.
And
whatever you said after that, it's all fair game.
And you won't be able to do this live recording that's coming up. You know, live in Memphis in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh my God. Punishment is crazy.
So the hood side of me, the street side of me said, "What?" You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, who you talking to? Now I'm 21, 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you put me on punishment?
Punishment is crazy.
I decided to put some money in my pocket that didn't affect you. So I'm using an example now. The example is funny, but I'm using an example to show how you can be out of control of a situation. And a situation would just be all for some artists really want to control you, some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally told me that I was on punishment, and I told him, let's just say we never. Let me just say the conversation.
Yo, he keeps saying,
Oh my God!
I'm going to hit you on the side to find out the punishment is crazy. I actually
Yeah. He said, "Hey, no. And this is the thing. This is what the artist told me. Now you can't quit. This is just." He said, This is just a punishment. This is like a month or two punishment. I got other things. I got other things that I'm getting ready to do, TV shows and things like that. That I need you to be on. But you can't quit. How you gonna tell a grown man he can't quit after you done put him on punishment?
Yo, punishment is crazy.
No, that's hard.
Those are exact words, though. I'm not making this up. This story's not fabricated, anything like that.
No,
That's the exact word.
No, for sure. He was slated to be on punishment. Then he bounced. It was a wrap.
Yep. And so I'm saying all that to say, y'all, just don't take it personal, man. That's why I said have something different to offer the world than just being, oh, I'm a musician. Everybody's gonna know me as a musician, like because you're gonna go around taking everything personal and trying to hold on to every little gig, every little opportunity. Like this, me and Rex was just talking a couple weeks ago. Like sometimes musicians feel like the gig makes me who I am. You know what I'm saying? This is my validation.
Now,
we are just as valuable as the artist. I'm sorry, Jamal. What'd you say?
No. I was about to go ahead. Finish that. That's crazy. I was about to say something about that. Go ahead, for sure. Keep going,
like we are just as valuable as as the artist. And like you did say, Jamal, the artist will pick up, or the management will pick up and just get rid of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna sit back like, dang, what did I do? Why didn't I keep? And I know some cats who call back and be like, yo, man, I know I was a part of another camp, but if y'all need me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let the chips fall where they may, bro, and keep moving. Keep your head up and keep moving, because this is the music industry. Nobody really owes us anything, but the only thing we owe them is to do our job when we call. You know what I'm saying? But we can't control how long the job lasts, or how long we there. But we just pray to God that the longevity is in it. But I will say, learn your artist. Learn your artist. And watch that butt.
What? Yo, watch your butt is crazy.
No, that's true, man. Like, listen, hygiene is a bit. That part I don't get. Like because that ain't got nothing to do with walking on any stage. Like, showers are free for us. You know what I'm saying? We pay for the water, but it's like, seriously, like in those moments, and y'all my brothers, so y'all know, like, I won't leave out the hotel without having cologne or something on. Like, if I get out the elevator, you be like, yo, Rex was just on here. I got that from my pops. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like, yo, no matter where you go, so I just don't get, as a grown man or a grown woman, we on tour. Like, yo, like, we not about to be on this bus for 13, 14 hours. We just had a show. We was on stage 2 hours. Like, you have to think, but people be so in a rush to get off stage to just do what they want to do. Like, no, let's deal with real life first. Then you can do the hype stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And hygiene is one of those things. Like, that's just day to day. You know what I mean? So, no, he's right. Like, he said, wash up. Whatever.
Yo, you got shit. Yo, the punishment crazy though. That's a real.
That's
crazy.
Horrible.
That's a really crazy one. That's a really, really crazy one.
Imagine being 21 and the artist that you love and look up to. That's how you make your bread. Tell you, man. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do a live session. Like, oh yeah, I'm hyped, bro. Like, this gonna be my live joint by myself. You know what I'm saying? I was sharing sessions at first. He said, no, what I got to teach you a lesson. I'm putting you on punishment, for a month or two. I'm like, what? Okay. I quit that thing so fast. Let's just say that, man, please.
Yeah, nah, that's real.
And Jamal, you wanted to add something while Varo was talking. Did you say?
No, he was talking about how people use gigs to like validate themselves. I think that's corny.
Yeah.
I think it's the most corny thing in the world. And I'm talking about from the other side of it. Like, just because you got a gig, and this is not me hating on nobody. This is me just telling the truth. Like, because you play with somebody, that does not mean you are better than somebody. And it's sad that we have to keep saying stuff like that, but that's just the realest thing. Like, bro, don't use a gig to validate who you are as a person, as a man, as a human being, because that's just not. That doesn't mean anything, honestly, bro. And I was going that way. I'm sorry, bro. I was
No,
You know, that's
no,
true.
like,
talk about it, bro. I'm listening. We
Yeah, that's
listening, bro.
facts, though.
Yeah, feel free to inject with
Yeah,
anything.
my perspective, you know, they need to hear your perspective and Rex's perspective on that. Like, and I will be honest and say I've been through it. I can talk
yeah,
about it because I felt that way in 19 and 20. Like looking at the bigger homies, like, yo, because I looked at them like that. But when I like, yo, this don't mean nothing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the big thing that everybody wants to know is finances. How do you guys manage? Because you guys do this for a living. How do you guys manage your money? Like, because I'm sure you don't just tour with one artist the whole year. Probably you have different gigs and all that. How do you guys go about managing money? And we'll start with Rex on this one.
I got married because for me, money was not. I'm dead serious. Like, I've learned.
Yo,
I've learned.
Are you
But
telling
it's
people
like-
to get married? Are you telling people?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's how you gonna come through the door?
No, I'm saying shit. My wife is the one that locked me in because you got these guys know making that type of money out the gate a week.
Yeah.
It's and you got at that time I was 21, 22. It's like, wait, how much you say a week? Oh, good. First of all, I filled out my tax information. All that was wrong on the front end when I first started touring. Because then you go from getting paid in cash, so called, to now everything is like paperwork. Yeah. You got to fill out a W-9. You got to fill out a 1099 if you got a bid. You know what I'm saying? You got to fill W's. That stuff I didn't really know. So even, and this is a true story, after my first tour with Mary, man, I owed so much money to the government. They was like, did you fill your paperwork out?
Wow.
And me, every week I'm taking home most of my check. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. The end of that tour, or when tax time came around, count was like, you owe this. I was like, nah, that's false.
Yeah.
But again, had I known earlier, I would have known how to, like, you know, first of all, fill out the right information and then learn how to put away. But like you said, one, you're not working 365 days a year. And like you get caught up in looking at people and it seems like they're always working. It don't always be like that. Because a lot of times some guys aren't making the money that they give you the perception that they're making. So in those moments, what you're making may not seem to you like it's enough. It's probably more than enough. You feel what I'm saying? But in those moments, you got to take what's enough for you, and it'll probably outlast what the people are making that you look at. But in those moments, learn how to take care of that money. Once you get to the next level, it'll be easy. You know what I'm saying? Now you're just making more, but your mentality ain't changed. So my mentality got better, but early on, like if I could have saved more at an earlier time in my career, I would have. But like I said, my wife had to lock me in on that because it wasn't the go-to for me to save. Because then you feel like Varo said earlier, you reach that age now. I mean, I'm still getting calls, thankfully, and of course these guys are. But it's like you get to an age where you may not get a call. Now what? You done made, technically, you could say you done made this amount of money over your career. You'd be like, oh my God, I don't have any. But now you're stuck because you haven't saved. Like now you put yourself in a position where you aren't getting calls, but you could have moved a different way. So I think it's a learning thing for a lot of us. Very few of us have had that like chokehold on like, no, this is what I'm gonna do. You don't find that many musicians like that. You know what I'm saying? But as you grow, you know what I'm saying, you just learn how to deal with it. But that's what worked for me though, for sure. Like I learned as I stayed in the industry longer.
All right, let's have Varo kind of put his 2 cents.
Man, I was broke a long time. I'm just gonna say that. But what taught me is self-routine of doing it the wrong way. So I had to finally find that way to outwork my bills in one particular season. And when I got into an advantage where I had more than enough money to put up, because when I was younger, man, it was more about like, if let's just say if a weekend I'm doing 2 or 3 gigs and The gig's paying me $150 a piece. Just to break it down, that might be if I'm working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, I'm making what, 450, 153, 450 before even Sunday even hit. Okay, if I go buy $250 worth of clothes to be fly for these gigs, I done lost money.
Mm-hmm.
I done went in the red already. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So my advice to other musicians is to think about the bigger picture. Don't get me wrong, we all want to look good and things like that, but don't be like me and in your early 20s and just buying clothes and shoes and things like that before it's time to be investing in stuff. I love all that stuff. I got plenty of shoes, clothes, whatever you can see. I might stay with something fresh on, but I had to get to that point and build to that point where, okay, I got triple the amount of what I'm about to spend.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of fly guys who don't even have gas in their car.
Facts.
Or gas money. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell y'all a story. So I did this one live recording, and I never forget, I might have had about maybe $300 in my account. So the live recording was supposed to pay me $1,700. I get done with the session. Everything's cool. Now I think I'm going to have a good week because now that's going to put me over the top. I got $2,000 for the next week or the next gig or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I get paid after the live recording. I deposit the check. Now I notice my whole account freezes. I'm like, yo, what's going on? The person who wrote me a check got a lien on their account. That money froze, and it froze my account with my $300 in there. You know what I'm saying? At this time, I was chasing checks, chasing money, chasing checks, just overspending what I actually had. You know what I'm saying? So that hurt me. And after if that sting you long enough, you like, I can't keep having these broke days like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that helped me get in front of a lot of things. So if I'm out here right now, I'm working or, doing whatever, I wait till my money build up months, weeks. I may go buy some T-shirts to go with some of the same jeans or shorts and stuff that I got. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is cheap. That stuff costs, whatever. Learn how to make it work. Learn how to think ahead. And like Rex said, we sit back and think about all the money we made. If I sat up and thought about all the rent I paid before having a house, all the money I threw away in rent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That stung me alone to just understand, man, we got to have more value with our money and our finances. We got to think ahead. We got kids and stuff, and even the people who don't have kids and not married yet, you got a future to think about. Where's your security going to come from? All of the hype of the TV shows and the gigs and the validation of other things, you can't put money in our pocket. You got to really think about it straight up and down human being. I'm going to be broke if I don't stop these bad habits.
Yeah, facts. That's facts.
Man,
I know a lot of so-called legends, that wish, and they tell me to my face, I wish I had did what you did. I wish I had tried to, own. I wish I had tried to save. I wish I had tried to. But honestly, you are a product in your environment too.
Yeah.
So get around some people asking questions, man, and get some information.
Yeah.
About how to set yourself up.
For sure. Jamal?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. And I'm not gonna carry on, but my dad always talked ownership with me. Even since I was a kid. And so I didn't really understand it. He would, this is a funny story. My friends on here, they would clown. We'd be in the basement shedding all the time, and he would come downstairs and stop us. He'd be like, oh, y'all didn't make no drums today? I ain't what do you mean make drums? And he was mostly just trying to get he was how we gonna make drums, dog? That don't even make sense. But it was just more so just he was trying to get us to understand, ownership, but then also, multiple streams. And it makes sense. If you playing drums, why not make drums? If you into clothes, why not make clothes? And so he taught me early on, man. I used to get paid $120 from church when I was 12 or 13, and I wanted the Allen Iverson. And he was like, well, if you buy these shoes, you're not gonna have no money for the month. And I was like, why? You're my dad. He's like, nah, actually, you're spending all of your money. You could use this money to make sure you got food and stuff like that, but you would rather just spend on sneakers. And so so back to what Varo was saying, basically surrounding yourself with somebody. We got a bunch of people we look up to when it comes to drums and stuff like that, but also have like some people that you admire when it comes to like finances and stuff like that, and find out what you need to know, so that you know not upside down in your bills, and you can pretty much have money in your account, man. I think my first tour, some people learn the hard way. My first tour, I blew all my money. Backstreet Boys, I was gone for 2 years. I blew all of it. I came home with 2 checks, literally 2 checks. My dad laughed at me. And by this time I had already, I had my first kid, my oldest, who just turned 16. I was 19, 20. And so I needed money to make sure she was straight, but I only had 2 checks, and I didn't know when the next tour was coming. By that time, I was kind of like not trying to play in church because I wanted to tour. So I was like, I wasn't playing around town like that. And it was just kind of like, wow, like I didn't think about this right. And so I think trial and error, but also, having the people around you that's going to help you work through your trial and error. And so you can, kind of pull back the covers on like the bad mentality and bad habits, bad spending habits. And, now, and also I think having multiple streams. We could talk about saving all day, but another thing people talk about, all the time is like, yo, if I got 10,000 sitting in my shoebox, that don't mean nothing. I should take 2,000 and invest it somewhere and let it make some money for me. You get what I'm saying? So just as much as you save, and think about investments too, because that's like sowing in good seed. That's like sowing good seed into like fertile ground. And if you're sowing good seed into fertile ground, it has to grow. You feel what I'm saying? So take your money, save it, but also invest it too. Feel me?
Man, that's all good stuff. So I guess the next question that I want to ask is there a moment in your guys' career, maybe not just one moment, but maybe a few, that you feel changed the trajectory of your career? Like maybe somebody said something to you guys that changed your perspective, or maybe a moment where you flopped on a gig or something and you're like, yo, I'm never doing that again. Like, I got to change this or whatnot. Is there a moment in your guys' career that you guys can reflect on and kind of let us in on? And Rex, we'll go with you.
I know one of the moments for sure. I remember like it was yesterday. We was doing the BET Awards actually with and Ricky Minor. They were the house band. They played. So you remember the scene? Remember the year that New Edition came back? The one that they do on the movie? That scene with all 6 of them and Bobby come walking out. It was that year. So Teddy didn't play for everybody, but we played with Mary. It's like the 25th BET anniversary or something. It was like her and Meth came out, I think. So we playing. It's like me, Lauren, Luke, Jeff, JJ. This is like 2005, I think. So I was hyped. Like, it's the BET Awards. You couldn't tell me nothing. But we had to sit in on Teddy's and them gear, right? So we finished the sound check, and Teddy was like, yo, come here, bro. He was like, dog, look at my drums. I was like, what's up? I'm hyped. I'm thinking I just murdered sound check. He was like, dog, it should be no way it should be dents in my toms, and you only played, 6 minutes? He said, I've been playing all day, and ain't no dents in my toms. That was the moment I had to lock in and say, okay, I have to figure out why he said what he said. Not get offended by what he said. There was a reason he was in the house band, and I just came and sang. You feel what I'm saying? Had I tried to sub for Teddy in that moment in my career, I couldn't have, because the way I was playing wasn't going to work for an entire show of that magnitude. But in my mind, it would have, because I used to see pockets of Teddy jumping off the seats, smacking. It was like, man, that was like 3 minutes of a 2-hour show. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, I immediately changed my stick, and I changed my approach to even how I hit the toms and everything. So now you can ask Sid or guys who attack for me. Keenan, like, you will very rarely walk away from my drum set, and I barely go through sticks on tour. But in that moment, I had to change up my approach, because what I thought it was wasn't what it was. And what he told me in that moment, just about how to approach drums and all that, it changed everything for me moving forward, because at that moment, everything took off. You know what I'm saying? So I just took what he said in that moment and just applied it to the rest of my career. And that was 2005. So for me, that was one of the moments. It was like, okay, you gotta listen.
Wow. Jamal?
Yo, my phone was like somebody was FaceTiming me, so I don't even know the question, bro. I heard my phone.
No, the question was, is there a moment or moments in your career that you feel changed the trajectory of your career? Like where maybe you flopped on a gig or somebody said something to you that really changed your perspective and kind of helped launch you into the career that you're in right now?
I think every gig, honestly, every gig. I always try to go back and just like watch stuff and listen to stuff, and I'm hard on. I'm like my own worst critic. So anytime I'm watching something, I'm like, why would I play that or why would I do that? Like I'm always just kind of mindful of those things. But I've had a few things. I think one of the crazier moments is when Joe Wilson, he had hired me for a bunch of things, but the first thing he hired me for was the Diddy stuff. And I was so used to like playing electron. I mean, I was so used to playing live drums and just kind of not so much wilding, but just being young Maul. And at this moment, Diddy didn't want that. He wanted the live drums, and he wanted expression, but he also wanted the patterns and stuff like that. And this is when I really had to like hone in on like playing patterns and playing electronics, but having a hybrid kit and stuff like that. You guys are aware of that, Retro aware of that, or Varo, you too. And so I remember Gerald coming to rehearsal and just kind of like helping me through that process because I wasn't all the way fresh with it, for lack of better words. I wasn't always amazing. And so he just gave me like little gems of how he was approaching things because it was still new. The hybrid thing was still new. Like you might have seen the SPDS pad, but we hadn't really seen like a full intertwining like a brain and live drums. Well, I hadn't seen it up close in person. I think Brian Fraser Moore, that was something, I'm retract my words. Brian Fraser Moore has always been into triggers and stuff like that from what I can remember. But I hadn't seen it up close and personal, so I needed like an OG to kind of walk me through this process. And so that was very, very pivotal in my career. And it made me actually want to involve electronics on all my gigs now. Like anything I'm playing, I want to play electronics. I want to play more than just the chimes and more than just the clap. I actually want to play the bombs. I want to play the pattern, and I want to play the original sound from the records and stuff like that. So how do I do that? So anyway, that was very super pivotal in my life, in my career. I'm trying to think of something else that might have been crazy. I'm trying to think if has an OG ever told me I sound crazy. Nah, I don't think an OG. They might have felt I sounded crazy, but I don't think they've ever. They might have told me in a nice way. I think one of my OGs asked me, like, oh, how you feel like you sound? I was like, yo, what you think? And he was like, well, how you feel like you sound?
That question is a death trap.
He put it back on
when
you.
They asked
He put
that
it back
back,
on you.
he's like, okay, got you. Yeah, I think Aaron might have asked you that. God, yeah, Aaron has asked you that a few times to think about it. Like, yo, how you feel like you sound? Like, okay, bro. But yeah, I think I'm always trying to learn from my mistakes, or not even mistakes, just learn from the past gig, whether it be yesterday or something like that, or the day before yesterday. I'm always just like, all right, I want to make that choice. I hope that answers your question, bro.
Oh yeah, that does. Varo.
For me, as far as like a moment in time that it kind of, you basically meaning like just changed everything in my career, like changed my mindset, everything just going forward. It would probably have to be, I don't know exactly what year this was, but I was out in LA doing an audition, a Tony Braxton audition. And I remember being a lot of homies, maybe like 50 guys in there auditioning for one gig. And I was grateful enough to be chosen, like one out of the other three guys that they kept and said like, oh, this guy has potential, whatever. But then I had to stay in LA, and I was challenged to learn like 22 songs in 7 days. So the most humbling and challenging part about that was I ain't had but $80 in my pocket. I'm so far away from my family. I don't have no cushion, no things like that. And it showed me too about locking in with the level of musicianship you got to have when you're in your lowest moment. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to get through that week, learn the 22 songs, did another audition, and me and the other guy were both, was supposed to audition with three of us. We were both auditioning, and I remember Tony's husband saying like, "Yo, this is the guy, this is whatever." But the MD at the time, I won't name any names, was basically just told me that I didn't have enough personality for the gig. So, which crushed me.
You got a lot of punishment going on the
yeah, man. Hey, I've been through it, bro. So he basically told me I didn't have enough personality to be able to fit the gig and things like that. And I could have took that like, dang, like I ain't gonna be able to make it in this industry. But I'll never forget, outside the center stage, and I walked out and I saw Aaron Spears. Aaron Spears came up to me and said, "Hey, bro, what's going on?" I was kind of frustrated, like, "Yo, they're not feeling me. I'm gonna get ready to book a flight, catch a flight home. I'm not gonna be able to get." So he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna just tell you like this. I know you're frustrated, but," he said, "sometimes you have to thank God for the doors that close." And I was like, when he said that to me, it just clicked. It was like, sometimes it's a blessing on the closed doors too. And I'm like, wow. And right after that, I flew home. I started cutting records, if not every week, every few weeks, gospel records after that. That literally became my career for like about 6 or 7 years. So that changed everything, because sometimes when you think you're at your lowest moment, somebody can just tell you, "Yo, a closed door is a blessing too." Somebody who's a hero, an idol to you, at the time. So that was at a point where that changed me. That definitely, that motivated me to just keep going, just keep striving. And I'll say any OGs that ever told me that I sounded bad, yeah, it wasn't drummers, it was more keyboard players like Percy Beatty or Al Willis or something pulled me to the side like, "Nephew, that ain't gonna work. What you doing ain't gonna work." I mean, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah, they pull your coattail like, or they throw that hand in that pocket, like, or slap it or something. Be like, "Yo, what you doing? Tighten up." Whatever. So, bro, yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie though. You got to get embarrassed. The only way you learn, you have to get embarrassed.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's what did it for me. I mean, a low moment turned out to become a 6 or 7 year, time of, okay, maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should go down this path until this comes around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it worked. But Jamal, you said some real stuff, because that electronic game ain't no joke either.
Oh no.
People think it is. That's not for kids.
Don't play with that.
No, not at all.
Don't play with that. If you don't go study electronics, bro. The honest God truth, we playing Good Morning America. That trick, like, it just kept triggering for no reason. It was a clap. It just kept going off, and they was counting down 10, 9, 8. I was like, "Yo, pull a whole clip." Yo, it was bad, bro. I've had some made days when it comes to electronics, bro.
Man. Oh man, it ain't no joke. But that either the threshold be off or the pass sensitivity.
Yes.
What's going on with my sound?
Yeah.
Man, that's you guys hit the nail right on the head. And I think it goes to show too, you guys all had somebody in life that was real with you, that they're not just there to hype you up, and it's how important it is to have friends and people that will touch you, like, straight up, like, yeah, that's not it. And in today's day and age, I mean, I'm one of them, but like, people want to be praised all the time. Like, they take negative or they take constructive criticism as like oh, they're hating and this and this and this. But you guys just spoke on how that literally shifted your whole career, and you guys took what happened and, you know, made it into something great, you know, so that speaks volumes, you know. Well, we're out of questions. If any of you guys want to add something on, yeah, Jamal, go ahead.
No, I don't have nothing to add. I was just saying, like, yeah, I felt the wrap up coming. I was like, yeah, exactly where we going with the wrap up. Yes.
Yeah, if you guys have anything that you guys want to say, we'll wrap this thing up. Feel free to add anything.
I just want to say, go ahead, bro.
Oh, go ahead. You want to go?
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I just want to say first, I mean, thanks for having me. Thanks for having us. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially because, you know, honestly, like, to have guys you respect, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to be able to talk about, because a lot of guys can't talk on this level with all of us being on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to, like, even give stories where we've messed up, like, this is a good platform. So, like, for real, thanks for having this one. I'm going to go back and watch it. Seriously, to be honest.
There's like, so nuggets in this, man. Yeah. Yeah. Varo, you wanted to say something?
No, I was basically about to say the same thing, man. Thanks for having this. And once again, sorry for my lateness. I would have been on here right on time. This time difference is driving me crazy. But I'm inspired, you know, by the three of y'all. You know, Aaron, I, you know, watch your videos and, you know, we always tag and, you know, the DM and stuff like that. Rex, you've always been an inspiration. Jamal, you know, it's the same, you know, from there. So two of my, you know, one of my, y'all like two of the dudes who I look at like, okay. I always call them and tease them about certain things. They're like, oh, I saw you on the show. Oh, okay, you playing that. That's what you doing? Okay, cool. All right. That's where we at with it.
Did get off the phone?
That's definitely something you would say, like, that's how you feeling? Like, that's where we at with it? Gotcha.
I said, that's what we doing? Okay, cool. All right. So now I know where I'm at. Now I know I got to sit in my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, it's all healthy. It's all love. Man, I'm like I said, these things, when I do these things, I'm always inspired because a lot of times you don't even remember your own journey. You know what I'm saying? It takes you back to your own stories. To like, dang, I actually got through that. I was actually, you know, able to get through that. And so it's cool, man. Thanks again, you know, for having this and having us. You know what I'm saying? It's dope.
Man, it's musician EXP. We should think, but yeah, man, I'm just grateful to be on this panel talking with you guys. You guys are some of my biggest influences and all that stuff, man. So I'm just grateful you guys took the time to talk to not just myself, but all these people and, you know, let them into your life a little bit and kind of, you know, share some experience with them. So thank you guys also. But
absolutely.
I mean, you guys have a great rest of your year. You guys, I mean, Varo, you got the tour still going on. You're a busy man.
2 more weeks. 2 more weeks going. 2 more weeks.
Man, you guys are doing it, bro. But alrighty, fellas.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. You guys take
it. All right, Adam. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Adam.
So.